All right, we got it. We're locked in a quarterback battle, and nobody really knows who's got the upper hand. We'll talk about it. Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network. That is not Israel Troop beside me. That is Clint Shamblin of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast joining me as he's pinch hitting for Israel, and hopefully maybe he'll be a regular. But welcome, Clint. How's it going, man?
Man, good to be here. It is a good day. It's a glorious day. We don't have a spring G-Day canceled like other has-been programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of a growing trend. Before we really touch on that, though, we're presented by Underdog Fantasy. It's a new way of playing daily fantasy. You pick your lineup. It's more or less on several key stats. I haven't tapped into the NBA yet. There's NBA picks out there that I have no idea how to pick those just yet. But it's a new way of doing it. Fast payouts, all that good stuff. There's all sorts of bonuses. So go to Underdog Fantasy, use promo code BelieveDogs, and get your bonus cash now. So, but it's, I came in here ready to talk about quarterbacks, right? Okay. But no spring game to evaluate these two guys. Like these things are interconnected. Nobody really knows anything who has the upper leg. I listened to your most recent show, and yes, we should definitely fire Kirby. That's a great idea. It's a phenomenal idea. I think
Georgia fans are just, why are we the way that we are? Just come on, everybody.
Yeah, it's a little much. And Israel and I talked about Bobo and kind of what's going on. And I think people just don't understand what it's like to have that play card in your hand and to be a coordinator. I've been in that seat. Israel's currently in that seat still. I was in that seat not long ago. I took, I'm kind of in coaching retirement mode at this point, but I've been in that seat. And so I know how difficult it is. And the only criticism I have of Mike Bobo is that I think he relies on his sheet too much. I think there's too much of him looking down. He's a great game planner. Like, he has a great opening script. It's beautiful when it's planned out. I just don't think he adjusts that well. And I think he has great instincts. He just doesn't tap into that. And I don't know if it's because he doesn't trust himself to tap into that. But, I've always said, like, he's going to, like, his next big challenge, though, with his instincts is to try to find the best fit. So in evaluating these quarterbacks, it's going to be a process because Puglisi has a slightly different skill set than Gunnar Stockton. So you got to find what he does well, what Gunnar does well. You got to find the middle ground, evaluate the middle ground, and decide, okay, are we headed towards Puglisi or are we headed towards Gunnar Stockton?
Yeah, it's really wild to me. I think it was Oscar Delp had early on in the season, 28 yards, I think, was the amount. Little waggle action on the left, Carson Beck rolling against his throwing arm. Mm-hmm. And it was all set up. That was a perfect play, hit the hash. It was this big gainer in the game. And it was all set up because Bobo had given them looks all game long with this waggle action, this play action waggle, and this screen action into the boundary over and over and over again. And then he hits that. And I think some people, like, we want every play to go the distance. And that's just not football. You have to game plan. It is a strategic game. You're trying to get people out of position. And once you have them out of position, then you can really, really go to town. It is much like boxing. You're setting up a punch by going to the body early, getting a guy loosened up, and then striking with some sort of jab and whatnot. Mike Bobo is fine with that. I think, actually, Corey, you're pretty dead on. There are multiple times last year where he went automatic on the sheet. Like, the sheet told him to do, he looked down, the sheet said something to do, and he did it. When in actuality, it's like, no, just ad lib a little bit. Just be in the moment a little bit more, Bobo. And people hear that and go, no, they can't do that. He's going to go 3rd and long with a draw. First of all, we haven't done that in ages.
I love that myth. That's like a great myth.
It hasn't happened in ages. And the only time it does happen is when Kirby has the ball on the 20 with 30 seconds left before half. And he'll do that to see what we gain, to see if he's going to go up tempo, get on the ball and go, or just let the half run out. That's the only time we've done it. I like your assessment, Corey. I think you're dead on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I've been there. I've had games where I'm like, I got to get off my sheet here, or like I'm on the sheet, and then all of a sudden something happens. Like, I'm attacking that. Let's go. All right, and then once that happens for me, the sheet goes in the back pocket and it never comes out.
That's right.
And I'm just once I get in, I'm in the game and I get in a rhythm, and that's kind of how I call plays. And people probably wondering, why don't you ever use that sheet? Like, what? It's for show, really. Honestly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I mean, I carry it around just like because I need to fidget with something, but yeah, that's it. So if he would just become more instinctual, which he is. Mm-hmm. He obviously is, because he knows how to set things up and he knows how to attack and put guys in precarious positions. It's got to be that. Now, going back, the game plan with Gunnar Stockton, like, I don't know. I don't know what happened in those 3 weeks before Notre Dame. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of factors involved. It's his first start, so I think we got to go easy on that. The protection was not great. No. And then Gunnar, on the same token, I think just the newness of him, the rookie mistakes of not knowing how to set those protections up like Carson Beck did, that didn't help. There's a lot of things. And sometimes when you're as a play caller, like, those things become insurmountable obstacles that you're calling against 5 different things, and you're not even to the defense yet.
That's right. That's exactly right. If you look, Gunnar Stockton did not lose this game against Notre Dame. He played fine enough for us to win. And people saying, I didn't see enough out of him to be the guy this year. I saw plenty that made me confident if he's the guy, which, by the way, I'm not calling my shot, and it is a competition. Don't read On3 Sports. Don't pay for a subscription to a guru. They don't know. Their name's not Kirby Smart, and he only knows, and he's not going to share anything with you. But that game showed me that Gunnar Stockton has the arm strength. He 2 deep balls that were pinpoint on, and I loved it. I think you're right. The protection scheme, normally a more developed center. By the way, Cedric Van Pran, miss you dearly, man. Holy jeez.
Took him for granted.
Well, no, we had no clue. Yeah. No clue what he did. Same with Solomon Kinley. He is one of my favorite offensive linemen. That man was a beast in the trenches. He moved men that shouldn't have been moved. Guys like that were missed on the offensive line. We got absolutely ransacked in the roster. Offensive line, running back, wide receivers included. Gunnar Stockton did more with less than other people in his talent, which is why actually Carson Beck was a fine quarterback. I know he had interception problems, but he did the same as Gunnar Stockton did. The talent was depleted on offense. I think if Gunnar's a guy, I'm happy, y'all. Yeah. You should be happy too if he's the guy, if he wins the job.
Yeah, I'm happy if Gunnar wins the job. I'm happy if Puglisi wins the job. I think whoever wins this job is going to have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that they can run things. And people that are saying Gunnar Stockton has a leg up because he started against Notre Dame, that's simply not true. Nope. People that say that Puglisi is significantly behind or ahead or neck and neck, it's just, honestly, they're on equal footing to me.
Yes, they have to be. Yeah. This is what Kirby does. And you guys, you guys as in the media people will clown him every time that Kirby gives you an answer. Remember at the beginning of the season, Kirby Smart said, our depth is lacking this year. We're coming into the season and our depth is lacking. Turns out he was dead on. He wasn't doing a smoke show for nobody at that. He wasn't given any sort of veiled thing. He was being honest. The problem is when Kirby speaks, we just don't like it, apparently, when we should be listening to him and taking it. We call it Curbinese. Yeah. We all need to listen to the Curbinese. He's telling you truth. You just might not like it. When he says it's a competition, Stetson Bennett won the competition. Guys got injured. Yes, 100%. But he won and he kept coming back. And Kirby said, it's a fight. I'll take dogs with fight in them. And they did. It's the same thing with Gunnar and Puglisi. Kirby Smart does not hand out position groups or starting positions to anybody. Look at everybody that's transferred because they were promised a starting position elsewhere. And Kirby said, go have fun, Dumas Johnson. Good luck. I love you. I wish you could stay here. You did start for Kentucky. I'm not promising you the same here. And you can fight if that's right or wrong. But he does that everywhere, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's okay. You see an opportunity, go get it. And he's got no hard feelings and no bridges burnt. Same with a kid that would, like Justice Terry, like commits to Texas. I'm sure Kirby's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go do your thing.
Absolutely.
If you decide to transfer, you got my number. I'm not changing it.
I'm still here.
We're still here.
That's right.
So that's one of the things I like about Kirby is he doesn't burn bridges. He keeps those guys in touch, and that's kind of what draws a lot of recruits and a lot of portal guys to Georgia. So I'm very much excited about that. I'm excited about I'm excited at how these new guys are going to roll in. I'm excited to see, okay, is this offensive line going to take the next step? Is our running game going to take the next step? This is probably, and you said this in one of your headlines. I didn't listen to this particular episode, but this might be the most loaded wide receiver room they've had in quite some time.
Yep.
I saw that headline. I'm like, I don't even have to listen. I fully agree.
I mean, name another. We might have when we had Terry Godwin, when we had guys like that coming through the system. Okay, yeah, maybe Malcolm Mitchell. Okay, possibly depth was there. This is the most loaded wide receiver group that Kirby has ever had, and outside of top end talent of George Pickens and AJ, those are anomalies. Sure. Yeah. This is the most top end heavy wide receiver group I think Georgia's ever had. And I don't think it's particularly close. We won a national championship. A.D. Mitchell was one of our best wide receivers. A.D. Mitchell's good. I'm not slamming him. Thomas and Branch are better than A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They absolutely are.
I have no problem stating that.
He's a monster. And I know A&M's got to be just kicking themselves.
Pissed. 20% of his receptions were touchdowns. On the season, when he caught the ball, 20% of them were touchdowns. The dude is a beast at scoring. Big-bodied guy that can go up and get the ball, and he's got athleticism. They are kicking themselves. They hate life. He wanted to come and get developed and so get in the draft because Georgia's going to have double-digit drafts again this coming year. Shocking. He knows. Shocking. He knows A&M ain't going to have that. Georgia will. And we are the benefit of that. And we won national championships, just by the way, with a quarterback question mark. All of you, everybody said Stetson couldn't do it, including me. I've outed myself many times. I didn't think he could. I'm an idiot. We won national championships with historic defenses, loaded wide receiver rooms. A.D. Mitchell, we had many of them, and a quarterback that was, to us, questionable. Well, we have almost the same exact thing happening again this year. The defense is reloaded. We're going to see snap counts need to come back, but man, that wide receiver room, I am salivating thinking about what they can do with the ball.
Yeah, and go back to Bobo. I love the commentary of, it doesn't matter. They got Mike Bobo, and I'll play along every once in a while. But on deep in the inside, I'm like, he'll be fine. This room is loaded. 2 years ago, they were an upset win away from winning the national championship. They would have won the national championship. They would have beat the brakes off of Michigan or Washington. So I have zero doubts they would have won the national championship that year had they not lost to Bama. But it's a crazy thing, and I'm for one, I'm excited. I think Israel's the only one that was full on Stetson the whole way.
Good for him.
He was full on. I doubted it. I was like, Israel, I think you're right. I was like, I had my doubts. I was like, I don't know. His decision making, it's not great. It's and then all of a sudden, boom, he wins 2 national championships and he becomes the freaking all-star.
It's we say this, Daniel and I say this on the podcast. Stetson Bennett was the Toyota Camry or the Honda Accord of rich people. Mm-hmm. The richest people don't go buy stupid luxury cars. It's a waste of money. You don't go get you get the one that gets you from point A to point B without breaking down, always reliable and always delivered. Now, it doesn't look good when you're trying to go out and be flashy. You're right. It just always does its job all the time. And that's what Stetson was. He did his job all the time. Just because you didn't like the badging or the color was brown, not black. You're like, well, I can't like it. Okay, keep your 5-star. Give me Stetsons all day long. So good on Israel for having him. I hope we have more guys like that. Give me Kirby's assessment of talent, not mine, because mine goes eye-popping. He's an actual coach.
Yeah, and Kirby, as long as Kirby's the head coach, I have zero doubts that Georgia won't. There's no doubt in my mind that Georgia will be competing for championships.
Yep.
Now, whether that, what that looks like year in and year out, like whatever, we're in the conversation. We're always there. We won an SEC title. I don't know what everybody's all been out of shape about.
I'm clueless.
I mean, it's obviously you don't want to lose to Notre Dame, but it's just a weird game, weird atmosphere. It was just weird. It was a weird vibe.
Yeah, we were in New Orleans for that game, and it was beyond weird. It felt odd. It felt like the game shouldn't have been played. And 2 plays determined it. Monroe Freeling forgetting what his job was for 3 seconds and getting lambasted and having a strip sack that resulted in a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And then 17 seconds of game time, but half an hour of actual time, kickoff return for a touchdown. Those 2 plays sealed the game for us. Yeah. And if you're telling me 2 bad assignment and a stupid special teams play that always bites people in the butt, if you tell me those are the 2 plays that determined our season, like I'll take it, y'all. Come on, stop.
Yeah, it's because special team stuff happens. It
does.
It happens, and so it's a normal thing. They're good at it. Yeah. Georgia's defense played outstanding. Oh,
so happy with that defense that game
throughout the whole game.
Yes.
And then the dam just broke. And that's the dam broke, and they just again the offense couldn't sustain anything. They couldn't get a run game going. No. Notre Dame's already good at stopping the run, and Georgia just couldn't. They just couldn't do it. The offensive line was in disarray. Gunnar Stockton was, his ability to check in and out of bad plays wasn't there
was not there
because it's his first start.
They loaded that box. They had 1 high safety the entire game, and they had everybody 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. And Gunnar Stockton did not feel comfortable checking out of it when maybe this year he does, or he has permission to, or he feels comfortable now with wide receivers that you just say, do a little looky look over here, 1-on-1, just go. Yeah, just give me one of these.
This guy's pressing you with no safety help.
Sure.
Really? Okay, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Oh, can you just even a quick little shutter step and inside and then hit that slant on press covers like that, and he can go. That game was an anomaly. It was a microcosm of a whole lot of problems. All of our deficits came glaringly out in that game. And it was not Gunnar. It was not Bobo. It wasn't any of the things that we're complaining about today as dog fans, which is wild to me.
Yeah. But defensively, what are you excited about the most?
Oh my gosh. I am talking myself slowly and surely. This is what I did before 2021. Actually, I do it every year. I'm a defensive minded guy. Admittedly, I like the trenches. I like defense, and I like linebackers and safeties, inside linebackers and safeties.
Were you a linebacker, defensive lineman?
I was an inside linebacker.
Linebacker. There you go.
I had the insane ability to run really fast in a straight line and use my head as a battering ram.
I was on the other side of that. I was the one battering ram you, but
yes.
5'8", 200-pound fullbacks weren't in the. Nobody was in the market for that. So
nobody was in the market for that. No. I am thrilled. I think we have a legit shot. I know we got returning inside backers. I know CJ Allen is there. He to me is more like a Monty Rice, which. Monty Rice was good. That is not an insult. I loved Monty Rice. He was the surest tackler on the team. But CJ Allen was supposed to be explosive. I don't think he is explosive. Raylan Wilson. We have backers that are explosive and were explosive for us. I'm excited. KJ Bolden thrills me to death in year 2. I think he becomes a absolute staple on this defense. I think becomes the leader of this defense. I think he takes over. You don't play as a freshman in the secondary at Georgia without being something special. I mean, real special.
And that's his physicality is what fires me up. His willingness to come down and blow up a quick screen or come down and run support and lay a hit. That's the thing that fires me because he's good. Everybody's good in coverage. They're all the same in coverage. Yeah. He's the most physical one we got.
I am thrilled for him coming down. I think our cornerback position is on lockdown. I know many people saying Ellis Robinson season. I don't know. I don't really care. The 3 that are out there are going to be studs. I do believe that. I think we got cornerback figured out. KJ Bolden. We have depth at the other safety position. So whoever we bring in, and Aguero to me is the wild card. if he sucks it up like he did this last season, Dog fans, it's okay to say he sucked it up because he did. KJ might have to switch over to that. And if that's the case, things get a little weird for me. Just like Malachi Starks had to go in the star position to shore up some deficiencies. It wasn't good. I liked Malachi in the back. He was good at star. But I'm thrilled for him. I think we have a freshman starting inside linebacker this year. I think one of the three. We'll have a three-headed attack, kind of like we did with Nakobe Dean, Tyndall, and Quay. I think we'll have a three-headed attack again at inside linebacker. And I think Justin Williams might just be a dude to do it. He might be somebody that's new. And Chris Cole, dude, Jalen Walker, part 2.
Yeah, I'm very, very fired up about that. And I think what was it that caused the defense to underachieve? You think is it communication? That's always kind of what I've gone on. Was it just people out of position? People not just underachieving. It was kind of a strange year.
It was a very strange year. I think when we were going great is when we had absolute monsters in the middle of the defense. When we had the Jalen Walkers, the Jordan Davis, the rest of the defense was able to shine because those guys were just man-eating animals on the inside. We didn't have that. Kristen Miller is our best chance of that coming back. Xavier McLeod is our second best chance of that. Some guys are going to have to, possibly, this is going to scare, it should scare you because it scares me. Some freshmen might have to step up in the middle of that defense and become all world in a hurry. Now we got some guys coming in this recycling or this recruiting cycle, as well as returning, who we haven't known that much about. That to me, the underbelly of the defense was so soft, and we got pushed around the middle, and it caused, in Kirby's system, it causes everything else out of whack. Now you aren't man coverage blitzing or just bringing 4 or 5. You got to bring extra. You guys got to come down. You got a little zone. That's not Kirby's game. Kirby's game is man up, do a couple high safeties, Dan Jackson, KJ Bolden, Malachi Starks, rotate whoever those are, and get after with 4 or 5. We couldn't get after it with 4 and 5. We had to bring inside linebacker blitz and off the edge, and it just made people stagnant. So the defensive tackles, if you want a position group to look at, defensive tackles coming out of spring is where my eyeballs will be at on the defensive side.
Yeah, see how those guys develop, see what guys come out of that group, because it's been kind of rough since Jalen Carter went to Philly, and so I'm very eager to see kind of how that works out, because that, like you said, I mean, that's a perfect point. Those 2 interior guys, or that one interior guy, decide depending on what front they want to go into.
Yeah,
those 3 down or those 4 down guys. Or the 3 down if they go odd, because those 4 techniques, they shift into 4 eyes, they become interior guys at that point. But that it just affects everything. And there's space created because you have to bring extra guys, and teams were able to nickel and dime down the field. And you're sitting there as if, I'm sure fans are sitting there going, pulling their hair out like, third Grantham is back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. And it was, teams were ahead of the chains against our defense all year long. And it's what made us feel like we were getting our souls sucked dried out of us. It's because there were sustained drives. Even lower competition was able to do it, because if look at the games in which inside run, the teams that ran inside on us, the teams that did power run, Alabama first quarter. Do I need to remind anybody that Jalen Milroe can't throw a football, but man, can he run power? He can. It's incredible. Yeah. And they ran right through us. When we got that shirt up, when that was changed, the game plan was totally different. We looked like a different defense. So those 3 and 4 techs, man, I need to see something out of them.
Yeah, no doubt. So before I let you go, we got a few minutes left here. Yeah. The NFL draft, we've alluded to it, double-digit dogs. Is Philly going to get another one?
I don't know how you don't double dip and go get Malachi Starks. And Malachi Starks is on that defense. I will buy Eagles gear. I already was close, but I will buy. Yes, they are. It's when you shout out the dogs in your Super Bowl acceptance speech, you have affinity for Georgia. I think they do. I think they go get a dog in somebody.
Yeah, they should. Or Jalen Walker or somebody. Nolan tore his bicep. That sucks.
I saw it happen too, and I was like, oh my gosh, that man is going to be in pain. And sure enough, he came out and played through it. Oh my gosh, what a warrior.
Yeah, definitely, man. I kept saying them dogs is hell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we go.
That's
Here
right.
we go. Even Jalen Hurts was like, they're like, well, so what's the difference in this year's team? He goes, we got Georgia players on defense.
Everywhere, just everywhere on that defense. That picture that it has, I think, was it Jalen and Jordan and then Nolan all lined up on the same shot. Oh my gosh, that was just picture perfect. Like Kirby was already going to beat you in recruiting, but that photo just sealed the deal.
Yeah, and every time, and also every time Georgia plays somebody else, it's like, or every time Philly plays somebody, it's like you have to get the wide lens to get all the Georgia guys after the game, that take the picture together. Like,
that's right.
Hey, Kirby's like, hey, see this picture? Yeah, that could be you if you come here.
You.
Hey, Quay Walker, who's starting in Miami? He didn't start here.
No.
You can still get drafted.
Yes.
Devontae Wyatt, you can he was a rotational guy.
Yep.
He's a first rounder. Yep. Like, it doesn't matter. Scouts come to practice.
Hey, wait a second. There's football happening that I don't get to see and know about, and is actually more important than what I just see on a little blip. Oh, that's wild, Corey.
Yeah, it happens, right? There's Monday.
Okay.
There's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
This is brand new information.
Man, during the season, I don't really count Thursday or Friday.
No.
But you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. Bloody Tuesday.
You
have training camp. Like, those scouts are all over training. Like, when I was working there for Coach Richt, I would often, sometimes when our front desk secretary would go to lunch or was out, sometimes I would man that desk out front, and scouts would come in. They would come in. I'd say, okay, all right, follow me. I'm gonna take you to wherever Coach Richt wanted them to go. I forget where it was. They were renovating a lot of Buttsmere, so I took them to different places. But a lot of times I took them down to one of the meeting rooms on the first floor and just took them down there. And all right, here you go.
There you go. Man, it's wild. I hope Philly does. I do think 2 dogs sneak in the first round. I think 10 dogs total in this year's draft.
Yeah, which is just mark that in the resume. Just check that box off. So, is basketball team going to get in the tournament?
We got to win out, and I don't see us winning out. As much as that Florida game was so much fun, that did something to my soul that needed to happen, because I was so high and on hopes, and then I got dashed. Beating Florida like that was poetic. We got to win out, and it's going to be hard. We're going to go on the road. SEC on the road is just a nightmare situation. It's brutal. So, unfortunately, Dog fans, hang your hat on the Florida win. That was great.
Yeah, it's basketball is one of those things you have to be super patient with, because Georgia has no history in basketball.
That's right.
None. And there was a dude that got in our comments that was trying to argue all the Jim Herrick points. I was like, that was a blip. We had blips. It was Dominique Wilkins, dead space, Tubby Smith for a half second, dead space, Jim Herrick, resign, dark ages.
Dark.
I was there when that happened. I was a freshman when that happened. Funny story about that. When that broke, right, is right before the SEC tournament, and I'm leaving work, and I go down to the bus stop. And I'm going to my car. I went to class. I parked in the morning in one of the other decks on North Campus, and I went to I bussed around campus, and I'm getting on the bus to go back to my car to go home, and I'm waiting right there by Stegman. It's like that bus stop that's right behind the practice field, in between the practice field and stuff. So I'm waiting there, and all of a sudden this news van pulls up. Oh gosh! And they're like, "Hey, can we interview you about Jim Herrick?" I'm like, "Sure." So I was on the news.
Look at you!
Yeah.
Look at you, Corey.
I was on the news. I made my news debut talking about Jim Herrick. I don't even know what I said. I kind of blacked out.
There's a camera in front of me, and I'm not.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, I blacked out. I don't know what the hell I said, but it must have been good, because I got my phone blew up.
Yeah, it did.
My Nextel.
I know. You there was Snake being played on that, 100%.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I had a bug on that. I had a glitch in my Nextel. Every morning at 7 a.m. No. 7? No, it was 8 a.m. because I almost got kicked out of class because of this. This is when I learned I got to actually silence this phone. I would get it would just be a blaring alert because, Nextel's not quiet.
No.
And it would be, and I have never been to Wilmington, North Carolina ever,
Okay.
but I would get the weather report, the forecast from Wilmington, North Carolina every single morning on an Atlanta number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
So I had to quickly get that fixed. But
Very.
I enjoyed the chirp, the Nextel chirp. That was the fun part. Hey man, where you at, boy?
Oh, you just half your audience has no clue what you're talking about. You're just an old man to them. This is fantastic.
They're like, get out of here, boomer.
Get out of here. Yeah,
that's what they're saying right now.
Yes.
41 years old, guys.
Oh gosh,
I was there on the days of AOL, the dial.
Yeah, you were.
You get on AOL and dude, it's just like your friends are right there. You got your friends list there and you chat them up. You're like, yo, what's up, man?
That's great.
And you just chat.
That's right.
So, Clint, appreciate you joining us, man.
Hey, good being here, man. Tell Israel I said hi.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll have to get you back when Israel's going through the same thing you went through. Flu's running rampant through his house,
bro.
So I'm sure he's next on the chopping block. He's the only one that's not sick right now.
This is not a political statement. Go get your flu shot next season. I wish I did.
Yeah, it's brutal. I had it earlier in January. It was somehow I think I was just so out of my mind, like trying to get my mom moved. I didn't even know I had it. I just man, I'm exhausted. I just powered through it. I didn't even. Yeah, I don't even. I like I said, I blacked out again. I don't know. January was a blur. So anyway, thanks, Clint.
Yep.
Locked On Bulldogs. If you want some more of that action, the latest episode, Kirby has lost it. So go check that out and go check out all that Clint has on Locked On Bulldogs. And of course, right here on Believe in Georgia Dogs. For Clint, I'm Corey. So long. See you later. And go Dogs.